Good morning. Day 1 of our meditations. And today we looked at all the influences that we had in looking at relationships as we were kids. All the decisions that we made then on looking at other people's lives and deciding how our lives will be. Okay, sit comfortably. And if you're sitting, sit with your hands, palms facing upward, back straight, and just notice your breath. So look at your inhale and notice your exhale. And all you're doing is noticing the breath as the air comes in through the nostrils and exhales through the nostrils. Come to the center of yourself as you're noticing your breath coming in and going out. Notice how your feet feel. Are your feet planted firmly to the ground? Just notice. Now if you were to connect even better to the earth, your feet would sink in about another 2-3 inches. So with your intention, sink your feet into the earth. Again, remember it's with intention, so you could be on tiles, you could be on wood, you could be on anything, but your intention sends your feet through to connect to the earth. And as you connect to the earth, just notice what that feels like. Notice Pachamama, Mama Gaia, Mother Nature. Just notice the coolness of being connected to her. And then notice the roots that automatically come up from your feet and go to the center of the earth. And again, just notice what that feels like. Notice what colors pop up as you connect to the center of the earth. You have these roots that run immediately down to the center of the earth. And again, now notice your breath. What is your breath doing as you inhale? And as you exhale. Inhale and exhale, and inhale again, and exhale. Now your attention goes to the top of your head, and notice the light that's coming through the top of your head and coming into the body. So just notice what that feels like, this incredible light coming in through the top of your head and going out through the rest of your body. Notice the width of the light. So you're going to make that width even wider. So it should be at least as big as the center of a paper towel roll. And you're going to expand it to what the size of the paper towel should be. So making that space even wider as that light comes through the top of your head into your body. Notice the color of the light. Now go back to your breath and notice the breath, what that feels like. Notice the inhale and the exhale. Again, the inhale and the exhale. So as we have this light coming up from the center of the earth and the light coming through the top of your head, rolling in your body, just notice what it feels like. Notice the exchange and notice what it forms around your body. And then just notice in the body where you see any things that are not normal, kind of breaking up the flow. What you're really looking for, noticing that place that you've created judgment about relationship. Notice where you feel that. So notice if it's in your heart, if it's in your stomach area, solar plexus, if it's in your sacral area, if it's in your root area. Just notice. And this is a place where you looked at mommy and daddy and you saw a behavior. And you made a decision. Is this how relationships are supposed to look like? Maybe I'll do this because I get love from mommy and daddy. And what it is we don't recognize as children, that our love comes from higher. Our love comes from God. Even if mommy and daddy weren't there, we'd still get love from God. But we don't know that as children. We know that all of our love energy comes from our parents. That's our truth then, but it is not the truth. So we will do whatever it takes to keep that balance. So we look at behaviors from parents, or people that we love, aunts and uncles, people that we admire, that leave an impression on us. And we look at their relationships and how they form basically our relationships. So we just notice where we have that little bit of angst, because now it's coming up in your body. That little bit of angst on relationship. What did you see? Where do you feel that in your body? So now that you've recognized that, give it a shape. Give it a texture. And notice what it feels like. Sometimes it starts to get uncomfortable, and just notice that. So now that it's feeling a little weird, you go back to your breath and just notice what the breath is doing. Some may notice the inhale is long and the exhale is short. Some may be choking a little bit on the breath. So just notice that. No judgment. You're not changing anything. You're not going to force a deep breath. You're just noticing. And go back to the area again and just notice what it's doing. Is the shape changing? Is the shape growing? Notice if the color is changing, and really look at the texture. Is it spiky? Is it a big knot, a big boulder? Is it like quicksand where you're drowning? And all you're doing is noticing. Go back to your breath and notice what your breath is doing. Notice if the breath has changed. Has it quickened or has it become softer? Notice the inhale as opposed to the exhale. Notice the temperature of the breath as it's coming into your body. And notice the temperature of the breath as it leaves your body. Now we're going back to the feeling again and notice if it changed. Did it get softer? Did it shrink a little? Is the texture changing a little? Notice again if a color popped up. Go back to your breath and again notice the inhale as opposed to the exhale. Notice the temperature of the breath as it comes in and how far down it goes into the body. And notice the temperature of the breath as it comes out and from how far down it comes out of the body. Now go back to the feeling and notice, did it change? Did the texture change? Did the texture lighten? Is it dissipating a little? Notice the size. Is the size the same? Or did it shrink? And all you're doing is noticing. You're not changing anything. We're just letting this evolve. This little angst that we had. And what you're going to do again too is just notice if there are any tentacles going to other parts of the body that you didn't notice before. Little tentacles from this space, this object that has a texture and a shape. And just notice if there are any tentacles. Go back to the breath and notice what the breath is doing. Again, watching the inhale and watching the exhale. Now go back to the part in the body that's affected and notice what it feels like in that space. Did it change? Are the tentacles still there or have they shriveled? And again, all you're doing is noticing. You're not changing anything. Go back to the breath and what's the breath doing? Again, look for sensations with the breath. How far down is it coming in? And how far out is it going? Again, all you're doing is noticing, not changing anything, letting it evolve by itself. Awareness is such a key part of all this. Recognizing things. And then suddenly there's another perception. Now go back to the part in your body and notice what it's doing. Wow, it's kind of broken up a little. One more time to the breath. Notice what the breath is doing. Notice if you have a deeper breath, a longer exhale to match the inhale. All you're doing is noticing. Just notice. Is the breath lighter or is it still restricted? Go back to the part in the body again and just notice. Notice what it's doing. Is it lighter? Texture totally changed? Where is it? Can't find it. Just notice. Now go back attention to the feet and the connection to the earth. You're still there, you're still connected. Pachamama has that healing light that starts to come through your body. That's always come through your body, but we have little blocks and we forget. Our attention is on other things. So now our attention is on her and the energy that she gives us every day. Every time we step on this planet, every movement we make, we are there for that energy. That energy is us. So Pachamama sends her light through our bodies. And then spirit from above, sending our light through the top of our heads. And they meet in the middle, in our heart center. And we radiate this out to the world. We radiate this, that becomes our energy field. So just notice the shape and the size of what comes out around us. Again, that's from the light coming in through the top of the head and the healing energy coming up from the earth, coming through the center of our chest and expanding outward. So just notice what that feels like. Notice what it feels like to be in that space. So we know it should be at least the width of our arms, surrounding our bodies, top, bottom, side, front and back. And with each inhale, you're going to expand that bubble even more. So you inhale, you should be as big as your bed or your chair that you're sitting on. Inhale, you should be as big as the room, as big as your house or apartment, as big as the field that you're in listening to this, as big as your city, as big as your country, as big as the planet itself. And for those of you who expand even further, just notice how far you go, what you bump into. Again, if you find a wormhole, go through it. So just notice what that space feels like. Does this space feel comfortable? Does it feel safe? Is it cold? Is it nice and cozy? All you're doing is noticing. What does this incredible space feel like? Where we're all connected. So again, you're going to look up and down and all around. Just notice this space. The vastness of you. This is all you. This is who you truly are. And this is how we all connect. We are all a part of this. Now notice again your breath as you inhale and exhale. Now take a deep breath and let it out. Another deep breath and let it out. And one more deep breath. And as you exhale, slowly open your eyes. And all of this with a knowing that you are here to have your own experiences. You are not the sum of everyone else's. And I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.